Midnight's big release, right? We just saw the new, what's it called? The new cinematic. It looks very cool. I actually thought it was a nice cinematic, a nice change up from the kind of friendly cinematics we've been seeing lately. So pretty cool launch. We've gotten a bunch of new features released since then. Blizzard has not officially come out and given us the press conference that they typically do with this stuff, but they have been drip feeding us all these new features through a bunch of different release avenues. So it looks like Mr. GM here has collected a bunch of those features. Let's check out 10 new major features coming in World of Warcraft Midnight for Mr. GM.
Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about Midnight. Yes, World of Warcraft Midnight has just been revealed at Gamescom 2025, and in this video we're going to go through all of the details that you need to know about this brand new World of Warcraft expansion coming in 2026. But before we jump into that, I do want to give a...
If I had to guess, remember we were looking at the dates, probably, what is it, February? Late January or February? It's going to be early in 2026, unless something sets them back.
Massive thank you to all of our channel members and everyone over on Patreon for supporting the channel. Very much appreciated. If you do want to support the channel in that way, I'll leave a link down below. Right, so yes, the second expansion in the World Soul Saga Midnight has finally been revealed, and with the epic cinematic and the gameplay trailer and a press kit, we finally know all of the details of this upcoming expansion. I just want to note here that there isn't really a ton of gameplay footage, only really the gameplay trailer as well as the cinematic and a couple of images from the press kit.
I'm
some
guessing,
of the stuff I'm talking about on this list might...
I'm guessing they're going to still do that press conference that they always do where, you know, they got the round table and they're all sitting talking about the features of the expansion. Because right now, I'm not going to lie, the Midnight expansion's hitting kind of limp. I don't know, maybe I need that press conference. I'm excited about the features, but I feel like we got the expansion announcement and then didn't get anything else. Like, usually we get the full deep dive. Obviously, the stuff typically happened at BlizzCon, where we basically had like an hour-long talk about the expansion and everything that's coming with it. Instead, we've gotten like, okay, here's the cinematic, and then they moved on to another cinematic because it was at Gamescom, so that was kind of like, oh, okay, so we're not going to get any other stuff here. And then they started drip feeding shit through other avenues. So it was kind of weird. It was a weird way to get the expansion. I'd obviously prefer the hour-long talk about it, but we'll keep getting stuff. And I'm guessing Blizzard's still going to do their big press conference eventually.
Not have associated images, might just put some random footage behind it, but yeah, you get the idea. So let's get into some of the major features of the expansion, starting with new zones. Yes, like any expansion, this expansion comes with new zones. Now, in the press kit and in the gameplay trailer, it wasn't mentioned anything about a new level cap. However, it has been confirmed to me that the new level cap will be level 90 going into Midnight. So 10 new levels. Anyway, the first new zone we're going to encounter in Midnight is going to be the Eversong Woods. So yes, as mentioned, Quel'Thalas is going to be kind of the area where this expansion is going to be taking place, at least in the first patch. Now, what they've said is that they're completely redoing Eversong Woods and the surrounding areas from the ground up. So it won't be like...
no squish. I mean, we've gotten over level 100 before, so maybe we're going to continue on and push forward. The thing is, level 90, it's pretty obvious now. We'll go up to level 90 now, and then at the last Titan, we're going to level 100. I think that's where this is going. And then beyond level 100, I think that's where the level squish will happen, because we're going to get some sort of reset to the game. We're not going to lose, or you're not going to lose all your transmog and your collections. I don't think we're going to get like a full, oh, here's WoW 2, go purchase the new game, all your old shit's gone. No, but we're going to get some sort of story reset and maybe leveling reset, right? That would make sense. If we get a fully new continent and all this other, go to the other side of the world maybe after the last Titan, it would make sense that we get like a full level reset, essentially, when that happens, and then you go kind of from there, right? More than just 10 levels, whatever it is. But yeah, makes sense right now. Taking us to 90 for this one, and then the last Titan, the level cap will be 100.
Just an HD remaster, it's going to be a completely redesign.
120, I think, was the highest.
Going to have some parts that you would recognize from the original Burning Crusade version. Now, the expansion will begin with Xanatas forces attacking the Sunwell, as we saw in the cinematic. Now, Eversong itself has actually healed from the wounds inflicted on the land by the Scourge campaign. And much of
there's the Windrunner Tower. Yeah.
What was previously known as the Ghostlands is now actually teeming with life. Now, Silvermoon City will be the expansion hub for Midnight. However, I
pointed this out when I saw this image for the first time. If you look through the pillars here, you can see the skybox, and there's a big void voidy skybox out there. I wonder if that's always going to be there, or that's going to be like some kind of world event where it just comes and goes at times.
For Horde players, there will be some areas of this city which are accessible by Horde players only. This is very much still a Horde city. The Alliance will likely have some access into the city just to make it kind of a neutral hub for some part.
Oh, so it's still technically a Horde city, but Lorthamar is probably, he's inviting all the elves, which means he's inviting Alliance players to the city, but there will still be parts of the city that are only locked to the Horde? That's an interesting compromise, actually. I even though I play Alliance, I kind of like that. I do. I kind of like that. I think that's a good... Oh, shit. Who's that? Oh, that's... God, Erator's father. Shit, why am I drawing a blank right now? Turellian. That's Turellian. He's standing right there. Oh, damn. I've seen this image before. I didn't even notice he was in it. Okay, cool.
But yeah, there will still be
I think
very
that's a
much
nice
a Horde
compromise,
vibe
giving the Horde their own
in
section still.
Silvermoon City. Now, Eversong, as mentioned, is getting attacked, so the threats you're going to be fighting in Eversong are the Void, the Light Bloom, which is a magical overgrowth, and the return of the Armani Trolls, and some cultists that serve the Void. So yeah, from the press kit, the images look absolutely amazing. I love seeing these kind of HD remastered Eversong Woods graphics. I think it looks fantastic, and I'm super looking forward to seeing what this looks like in game. Now, after you've played through Eversong Woods, you actually get a choice of 2 zones. The first is a Zulaman zone. Yes, we are getting Zulaman as an entire zone. So this expands on the classic raid into a full zone, featuring the ancestral lands of the forest tribes, ancient forests, and mountains teeming with wildlife. Around the zone will also be scattered with troll ziggurats and crypts. So yeah, this is actually going to be an incredibly deep...
One thing that I noticed from these images, and I'm not sure he's going to show it here, is it looked like the entire Amani tribe was sitting in tents. For some reason, they were not in their city. Now, I don't know if we're going to get a new raid version of ZG, right? But the storyline could be that for whatever reason, they lost their city. I don't know what happens to it. It gets taken over by something, and like we're going to retake it in a new raid. I would love that, personally. I mean, there's a lot of nostalgia around this zone and this raid already. So going back to it I'd be all for it. And that could be the story behind it, because the images they released, none of the trolls were here. They were all in their huts, which is kind of odd.
Zulaman zone, which I'm super looking forward to seeing the Armani trolls again. It also says in the press kit that you can explore the temple.
What's happening with the Ghostlands? Not sure yet. Not sure. Also, Silvermoon's rebuilt. They did say the Dead Scar has been healed, so these things are going to change. But we haven't seen any images of a healed Dead Scar yet, or what that's going to look like.
Of the lower, the eagle, the lynx, the dragonhawk, and the bear.
I'm sure,
but now they are weathered
too.
And silent. It was also mentioned to me that there will be some new lower as well. And also, while in the zone, you are going to meet the new leaders Zul'Jara and Zul'Jan, who are the grandchildren of Zul'Jin. So the Zulaman zone definitely has my interest. I always really enjoyed the zone.
This is classic right here. Yeah, in terms of like lore, this is one of the things I'm most interested in. I've been wanting to do this more, and man, instead of playable Haranir, I wish we would have gotten Amani Trolls. Ethereal's an obvious one, but Amani Trolls, come on. That would have been great. The Haranir just, whatever, okay, fine.
Zulaman Raid and the Zulaman Dungeon, obviously in Cataclysm. It's going to be really interesting to see an HD remaster of an entire zone designed in that way. The other zone, which is completely random from...
Windrunner Spire and Zulaman are in the Ghostlands. Right, so I'm assuming they revamped that. They're revamping the entire zone, I would assume.
Zulaman and Eversong Forest is Harandar. Yes, this is the homeland of the Haranir. Now, more on them later on. Now, we obviously met the Haranir very briefly in the War Within, but yeah, this is expanding on that lore for this race. Now, this is described as...
I mentioned this when we saw these images the first time. I feel like these images this was already done. Rootlands was going to be the final patch, and all these assets and all this zoning and everything was done, and then they decided to go a different direction, so they're just reusing these assets. They decided, okay, we're going to go forward with this anyways, and we're just going to figure out a way to make it work in the Midnight expansion.
We obviously met the Haranir very briefly in the War Within, but yeah, this is expanding on that lore for this race. Now, this is described as a primordial fungal jungle built around the roots of the world trees, where all manners of life are derived from plant matter that span this zone zone, including fungal towers, moss bridges, and bioluminescent wildlife. So what we've also been told is that nothing is constructed here. It is basically all natural as an entire zone. The screenshots and footage we've seen of this zone do look absolutely incredible.
There's also light coming down through holes, and this is an underground zone from what I can tell. From the images that I've seen, it looks like this zone is an underground zone. It'll be the only one, though, in this expansion.
Now, I do wonder how we're going to get there from Quel'Thalas. Are we going to go down? Are we going to port there? I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
And how this links into the entire story of Midnight. But yeah, Harandar, or the originally named Rootlands, is going to be our third zone of Midnight. The fourth and final zone of the launch of Midnight is a zone.
Bioluminescence, Sam. No, I know, but there is an image of it where it shows like a rock ceiling. Like you could literally see the ceiling. It looks like it's at underground. But yeah, bioluminescence could be what that little light shaft was, maybe.
Called Void Storm. Now, this is described as a distant, chaotic world drenched in void energy, where even the creatures themselves fight to consume not only the heroes of Azeroth, but each other. This features storm fields, low gravity, and 3 massive nexus points. So what we've seen from the trailer and the press kit, this does look very, very similar to Koresh, but way more crazy. I believe this is just like a pure void area filled with all sorts of crazy creatures. We saw some of these new creatures.
Like I said, this skybox look like it's going to be crazy. Like there's just void energy be funneled through these giant, I don't know, black holes or whatever they are. This looks cool.
In the trailer as well, which absolutely look amazing. This is going to be a pretty wild zone. Low gravity definitely piques my interest there.
Low gravity?
Going to be a pretty...
Did they describe it as low gravity? That'll be interesting. So maybe we jump higher and stuff? Cool.
Intense zone. Kind of like the Maw, perhaps, but hopefully a little bit less punishing and maybe more fun. But yeah, Void Storm is going to be our final zone of the Midnight expansion. Next new feature of Midnight is a new gameplay system called Prey. The description of this is that it is a opt-in hunting system.
Just real quick, those new Amani troll models look great. Man, this is a big buff boy. That is cool. This is what people want. They don't want the Haranir. They want big buff boy trolls from the past, man. These guys are part of ancient lore from World of Warcraft. The fighting with the elves and everything else. This is what you look at, the spikes in the shoulders and everything, and this looks awesome.
The description of this is that it is a opt-in hunting system led by Astalor Bloodsworn, based in Murder Row in Silvermoon City. This system adds an extra layer of outdoor world gameplay for players seeking more thrill and challenge as they adventure across the Midnight Zones. It says hunt powerful targets across zones with unpredictable ambushes. So this actually has 3 different difficulty tiers. You have normal, which are introductory hunts. You have hard mode, which introduces torments and confined final encounters. And then you have nightmare mode, which makes the entire zone a punishing challenge, as they've described. The rewards for this system are listed as cosmetics, mounts, titles, and housing items. This kind of sounds like world tiers, something that we're going to see in the upcoming Legion remix in patch 11.5.
Yeah.
So yeah, this seems like an expansion of...
He's kind of right. It does sound like world tiers. To me, when I heard about it, and you guys remember, I said it sounds like the Maw, the Jailer's Eye. If you remember, there was like a Jailer's Eye, and things got more difficult, and mobs started being pushed towards you and everything. Like that was a thing. Now, the Maw, I mean, my God, that place was depressing as shit. Not a lot of good ever came out of it, but maybe this new feature could be, hey, at least the Maw gave us Prey or whatever this thing's called.
11.5. So yeah, this seems like an expansion of that. Really cool to see them doing something with outdoor content, making it harder, rewarding players for this. The rewards for this are all currently listed as cosmetics, but there may be some player power behind it, which we'll actually have to see once we get into alpha. But yeah, this has definitely piqued my interest as primarily a outdoor world player. Moving on.
Yeah, by the way, the Prey feature too, they talked about with player housing, like obviously your hunting stuff, which is kind of cool, and then maybe mounting it on your wall. I mean, yeah, that's something you would definitely want with player housing, is the ability to just mount mobs on your wall, like mobs' heads. Obviously not humanoid mobs, because that's going to kind of get weird, but like animal mobs and stuff like that, be able to kill it in your Prey feature and then mount it in your house, because they did say player housing items would be made available through this thing. That'd be cool.
Into Delves. Yes, Delves are returning in Midnight. We have 7 brand new Delves in total at launch. In the Eversong Woods, we're going to have 3 Delves. We're going to have the Parhelions Plaza, the Colagate Calamity, and the Shadow Enclave. In Zulaman, it actually won't have any Delves from launch, it seems. In Harandar, you will have 1 Delve, and this is the Den of Echo.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about right here. You can see the rock ceiling, obviously. This is underground. Now, maybe only the Delve is underground because this is an image, I guess, from the Delve of Echoes, or he's just panning through images, and this is not actually related to the Delve. I don't know, but this is clearly underground. This is not, yeah, right. I mean, this is a shaft of light coming through. We are underground here again.
The description of this is explore living murals and ancient myths. In the final zone Voidstorm, we will have 3 delves. We have the Shadow Guard Point, where it says face corrupted ethereals, the Sunkiller Sanctum, it says explore the Dormana structures, and the final delve is the Torment's Rise, which is actually where you're going to be taking on the Delve Nemesis. So basically 6 normal delves, and then 1 Delve Nemesis delve. So no other details on delves, unfortunately, about any system changes or the Delve Companion, but no doubt throughout Gamescom, press, and things like that, we will find out more about that.
I wonder if the Delve Companion is going to be the Paladin that we saw, what's her name, in the cinematic. She could be. I mean, she's clearly taken front and center here as one of the main heroes of this storyline now. So maybe we get a Paladin running around with us in the Delves. I mean, it makes sense. She could 3-spec it, right? She could be a tank, a healer, or DPS, so that kind of fits. Yeah, Valera Sanguinar. Yep, that was another one that people have been saying. I think it's Valera. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that, so we'll see.
Moving on into brand new dungeons. There are 8 dungeons in total from the launch of Midnight. In the Eversong Woods, we have the Windrunner Spire, the Magister's Terrace. Yeah, we're getting the Magister's Terrace, but obviously you'd imagine this is going to be a new version of that. And we also have Murder Row in the Eversong Woods. In Zulaman, we have the Den of Norlak. This says a Dream Trials ending in a Punch-Out with the Lower of War. And also in Zulaman, we have the Maysara Caverns. This says the Vile Branch Necromancers amassing spirits into a troll monastery.
By the way, I mean, with all this troll lore, Bwansamdi, yeah, could be coming back. I mean, who knows, all this Loa stuff going on and everything. Maybe we get he was a great character from BFA. And he's kind of been on the back burner. Where's Bwansamdi? Where'd he go? Yeah, maybe we get him returning in some way here.
Harandar will have the Blinding Veil. It says face facsimiles of the Harandar's most dangerous foes. And Voidstorm will have the final 2 dungeons. We have the Void Scar Arena. It says survive waves of monsters for the Domama's amusement. And Nexus Point Zenus, it says ascend into a Void Tower to disrupt these storms. So yeah, 8 new dungeons coming at launch. No details on...
These guys are weird. They look like Lightbound nature guys. This guy looks like a tree paladin or something. I saw images of him and I was like, what are these guys?
Mythic Plus, or any changes to that system, or what is in the Mythic Plus Season 1 rotation. But we are getting 8 new dungeons, so presumably 4 will be in Season...
Look at this light magic. I mean, this looks like light magic here. That's what it looks like. So the nature binding with the light, that's an interesting new take on the light.
1 and 4 will be in Season 2, but again, details of that will come out very, very soon, I would imagine. Moving on into raids, so Midnight is going to do something a little bit different, and that is launching with 3 raids. Now, between these 3 raids, there are 9 boss encounters in total, and there wasn't any mention of raid release schedule or anything like that. They might just come out at the same time, or you need to complete one of them to move on to the next. Now, the first raid is...
correct me if I'm wrong, with BC, Burning Crusade was the last time we saw this with Karazhan Gruul's lair, Mechtharidan's lair. They were all out, weren't they? And it was just kind of like you do them, you level up, you get your item level up, and you keep doing them. They were all out at once, right? There was no time gating back then for this stuff. So if they do it the BC way, then it's going to be all 3 raids open at once. So yeah, I'd approve of that too. Yeah, I'm fine with that too. It gives variety, makes raiding less grindy, right? You can enter 3 different places, go for your gear from 3 different worlds and 3 different storylines and a bunch of different boss fights. I think it's good. WoW BC, 1 boss, BC style, 1 boss, 2 boss, and then normal raid now. More normal raid. Wow. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. So I guess we'd get the same thing here.
Void Spire, this is a 6-boss raid within Voidstorm, which serves as Xalatath's stronghold.
We're still getting 9 bosses in total.
This is a single boss raid that takes place where the veil between primordial dreams and brutal reality is thin. And the final raid is March on Quell Danast. This is mentioned as a 2-boss raid with super story spoilers, so Blizzard are not giving away this one for now. So yeah, 9 bosses in total, split between 3 raids. Certainly something different for Midnight. Very interested to see how this is going to work in practice, and no doubt once we get into Alpha, we'll have way more details on each of these raids. Next up is something I was pretty excited to hear about, and that is a new allied race, the Haranir. Yes, the Haranir are going to become...
This was my least excited, because when I saw that that's what was happening, I was like, wow, so it's not Ethereals. So it's not Amani Trolls. It's the Haranir. Okay.
a playable race in Midnight.
Fine.
Now, the Harroneer will be available to Horde and Alliance, with the available classes being Warrior, Hunter, Rogue, Priest, Shaman, Mage, Warlock, Monk, and Druid, with unique Druid forms. So very much a fan favorite from the War Within, finally becoming playable.
Surprised by the Shaman one. Not surprised that it doesn't fit the lore. It definitely fits the lore. These are very naturistic people. Just the surprise is we haven't gotten a lot of classes that can be, or races that can be shamans added to the game. So that's a new one.
In Midnight, to unlock the race, all you simply got to do is complete the main story of Midnight, so pretty similar to how the Earthen worked for the most part. Another feature coming to Midnight is a brand new Demon Hunter spec. This spec is called Devourer. This was obviously heavily teased in Koresh, with one of these side stories and one of the bosses from the raid being a Void Demon Hunter. So yes, this is actually a mid-range DPS spec using Void and Cosmic magic.
So they're the second mid-range DPS spec we've gotten. I mean, you got the Devastation Evoker, right, as your mid-range DPS spec, and now we got these guys, these whatever they're called, Demon Hunters.
Now, they did list some of the abilities in the press kit, including Void Metamorphosis. It says transformation sustained by soul harvesting. You also have an ability called Collapsing Star, which is a powerful finisher. You have Void Ray, which is a piercing beam of void energy. You have Reap, which is a scythe attack that consumes soul fragments. And Void Blade and Hungering Slash, which are a melee combo with a retreat. Now, as mentioned, this is mid-range, so similar to the Evoker class that we got in Dragonflight. No more details were given in the press kit. However, it's very likely we're going to get a ton more details over the course of Gamescom.
Definitely.
The other thing for Demon Hunters is that there is going to be a new race class combo, and this is a Void Elf Demon Hunter.
Yeah, somebody pointed this out to me in my YouTube comments section. I was like, oh shit, he's right. This is a Void Elf as a Demon Hunter. I didn't even realize that when I first saw the image, but it is.
Race class combo, and this is a Void Elf Demon Hunter. Once again, something that was teased in Koresh, and it seems like we are going to get all of the Demon Hunter customizations, but for the Void Elf model as well. I would imagine that the new spec and the Void Elf Demon Hunter choice will come in the pre-patch for Midnight, as this is one of the systems of the 12.0 patch.
Yeah.
Moving on into some new things for PvP in Midnight. So the first thing is a brand new Battlegrounds. This is called Slayer's Rise. So this is actually located in the Void Storm zone. Blizzard have said that this zone serves as both an open world PvP hotspot, as well as a new instance epic battleground inspired by Alterac Valley and Isle of Conquest.
Alterac Valley and Isle of Conquest. Okay. So capture the points and stuff like that. I could see that. All right. I mean, I could go in there and dominate PvP easily. I choose not to because just no reason to participate in PvP these days.
Players will need to conquer enemy bases before taking on their Dormana commander. The other thing coming for PvP is that Comp Stomp is going to be a permanent feature. Yes, it's no longer going to be a brawl.
That's good.
And they're also adding Battle for Gilneas and the Silver Shard Mine into the Comp Stomp rotation. It's not known whether or not the rewards will stay the same as the current Comp Stomp, as a lot of people use this to farm honor or marks of honor, but I would imagine that's probably going to stay as well. So yeah, Comp Stomp has got a new name, and it is Training Grounds. Another feature that's not so much a secret is that housing and neighborhoods are coming in Midnight.
Yeah.
Yes, the ability to create and customize your very own home.
Actually coming before Midnight. This before even the pre-patch. So yeah, pre-ordering the expansion, whichever level of it, is going to give you access to housing when that becomes available, which will be before the pre-patch.
In World of Warcraft is coming in Midnight. Now, we've had tons of different blue posts and updates on housing, and this will actually be playable at Gamescom as well, so I will have some kind of feature videos coming out very soon on all of that. But people are very excited for the ability to create your own house and collect different decor items for your house. It's listed that these will come from dungeons, raids, achievements, quest signs, crafting, holidays, endeavors, and the auction house. And as well as housing, obviously the neighborhood system is also coming. These are public or private zones.
WoW store and trading post. Those will also have housing items. I bet freaking my life savings on it. No doubt.
With up to 50 players,
50 all $2 of my life savings.
Different monthly activities called endeavors that will offer progression, theme decor, and like NPC evolution of the zone. We've seen loads of previews of this, and I think it looks really interesting for the most part. Not personally experienced any housing in any other MMORPG before, so I'm curious to see how it works and how it is. But from the feedback, it sounds like it's going to be an absolutely amazing system, and comparative to other MMOs, people are very happy with what they've seen so far. So this was also announced as a pre-order feature for Midnight to gain early access to housing, presumably in patch 11.7 of the War Within, with the official launch happening in 12.0 with the pre-patch of Midnight. And finally, with Midnight, there are some pretty major changes happening to the new and returning player experience. So Exile's Reach will get a bit of an update with some of the quests and things that you do over there. Just kind of a little refresher there. But one of the main things they're changing is that the tutorial for Exile's Reach will flow perfectly into Dragonflight instead of having to send you to Orgrimmar or Stormwind.
So yeah, they're using Dragonflight as the start of the story. That's what they're doing. So any new player who comes into the game, that's how they're going to first experience WoW, is through Dragonflight. Which, like, you could say, Dragonflight, how's the lore there? Look, it's okay. It's okay. And I think Dragonflight, what's good about it is, yes, it does lead into the modern-day systems, the new modern-day talent system, profession systems, and all that stuff. It is the systems revamp expansion. That's what it was. So I guess it's a good way to kind of get new players into the game and not overwhelm them with a ton of old stories. Because the truth is, the lore, the way it's laid out, it's too much. You got to kill a person trying to figure out what the hell is going on and who's dead and who's alive now and everything else. Picking up at Dragonflight, you get introduced to Iridikron, Zalateth, all that, and then, yeah, you get into this new stuff.
So you are just going to kind of like perfectly flow into the story. The other thing they're adding to the Dragonflight leveling experience is that there are now going to be story mode versions of Razageth, of Sarkareth, and of Farak. So they're definitely smoothing out that sort of leveling experience for new and returning players. They've also mentioned that skywriting is going to be simplified, with the ability Surge Forward and Skyward Ascent sharing 6 charges each, and the removal of Vigor as a system. And that is going to be a change throughout all of skywriting. So yeah, we'll have to see more of that.
Removal of Vigor? Wait, so are we just going to have infinite dives? What? That's crazy. What does that mean? How are we going to Dragon Ride? This is confusing. Okay. Well, I mean, that's a good thing, but I don't understand how it's going to work then. Are you just going to have a cooldown then on your buttons? Because, yeah, Vigor does get annoying, especially when you run out and then you just hover down and I'm live on stream and I'm embarrassing myself. Yeah, so that's fine. Dive, dive, dive. Yeah, I guess that's what you're going to do
once the alpha launches. There's also going to be a returning player experience, so this is an optional Arathi Highlands tour by Jaina or Thrall, depending on your faction, for returning players that don't need the full new player onboarding experience that they get from Exile's Reach. So this is going to be for returning players to the game to get them up to speed with what has been going on without having to play through the entirety of Exile's Reach, which is cool. They also mentioned there is going to be an expansion of the lore walking system with some brand new stories from past expansions being added to that, which is great because I really like the lore walking system. Of course, this will be guided by Lore Walker Cho. And finally, they've also said that there is going to be a shortened questing experience to play through the War Within story to get you up to speed with some of the key story points of the expansion before jumping into Midnight. So obviously, if you didn't ever play the War Within, this kind of story catch-up of the War Within is the perfect thing you need to just kind of find out what's been going on to get you ready for going into the Midnight zones. But yeah, there you go. That is 10 major features of Midnight. There is going to be a ton of more information about Midnight coming out over the week of Gamescom. I'm going to try and cover as much as I can over on the channel, likely going to be in different videos that come out after Gamescom. I will also be hosting an interview with Ian Hazakostas on the Gamescom stage, talking all about Midnight, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, Midnight is coming. Can't wait to jump into the alpha whenever that is happening. I really can't wait. I love the theming of this expansion. I love everything I've seen so far, and I really am looking forward to the second chapter of the World Soul Saga. So guys, let me know down below your thoughts on Midnight from the Gamescom announcements that we have seen so far. So guys, if you like this video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support me outside of YouTube, I'm also on Patreon and I'm on Twitter, MrGMYT, and I have a partner Discord channel as well. And also I am streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, War Within, 11.25, Housing, Midnight, any sort of World of Warcraft, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.
Oh, very cool. Very cool steps to keep evergreen content. Yeah, look, a lot of cool stuff, features coming in. The Prey feature is interesting. The Harnier race, whatever it is, what it is. The zones look great. The dungeons look great. I'm cool. I'm down for 3 raids opening up the season at once. That's kind of fun. It gives variety, makes the whole thing less monotonous. Like, we're not re-entering the same raid every single time. It just breaks it up a little bit more and gives you more variety, right? Because they're in separate raids. You can have completely different looking raids all in the same patch. So that's cool. Excited for Midnight. We'll continue to update things as they come out here. A nice video from Mr. GM.